Hello and welcome to another episode of the Unexpected Entrepreneur Podcast. Today we are back again with one of our past clients, Jamie, to talk all about her experience with our rebrand edit. So thank you so much for coming on again. And if people don't know who you are or haven't listened to your blogging episode before, can you tell us who you are, what you do, where you are, all of that great stuff?
Hi. Okay, I'm excited. So my name is Jamie. I am an elopement photographer. So my specialty is all the Lord of the Rings jokes. It's fine, but I love running away to the mountains. I love mountain elopements, the intimate weddings. I very much quit traditional weddings, which is what I grew up in, and instead pivoted all to the elopement world because it makes my soul happy.
I mean, who doesn't like being out in nature and like escaping from everything? So I can't blame you.
You could also enter like Parks and Rec jokes, like "Why are you here?" I'm running away from my problems.
You know what? Ron Swanson is like the goal of just like being out in nature and having my job be canoeing across the lake every single day. I would be
Exactly.
happy.
Yep. And I just have a camera and I have film and digital and I just make people have, well, I don't make them have fun. They are having fun. I'm just recording what they're doing.
You just get to capture it.
This is mandatory fun time, okay?
Exactly. So we did your rebrand towards the middle end of last year when you were thinking about taking the dive and starting this rebrand. What kind of prompted it? Were you having any challenges or any issues? What was kind of going through your head where you were like, okay, it's time to do this?
Okay, so one, I'm a huge spreadsheet girly. So I know everything about all of my inquiries, where they're coming from, who, like if they came from this like source, like say Google or something, did they book or did they not book? Where are they falling off in my funnel? And I was troubleshooting pretty much everything except what my current brand was. So like my visuals, like what my website was doing, like how I was talking versus what the visual of it was. I
Mhm.
started to realize the pattern that there was a really big disconnect because I had so many inquiries last year where some of them did convert to consult calls, and then by the time we got on the call, it's not like there was anything wrong with them or anything wrong with me. We just clearly were not, like, they thought I was somebody else, I thought they were somebody else. And like in my head, like as they're talking, I'm like, actually you would probably be better for XYZ photographer. And like, and they ended
Mhm.
up, they did, if they did get back to me, they'd say like, yeah, so we booked someone else, or they either ghosted. So I just like, I was like, okay, I think it's my website that's actually the problem. I feel like people aren't understanding who I am, what I do, like my personality, because they just were falling off, and I'm like, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like that's the hard thing, especially with something like this where it's so personal. Like, if you don't have things before getting on that call and before meeting in person that like explains who you are and kind of shows off your personality, you can run into those issues of the disconnect. So then you're like, it's not it's not necessarily like a waste of time to like connect with people, but then you're like, I feel like you would have been better over here
Hmm.
and spending your time doing this, and it doesn't feel as great as if you're just like get on the call and they're like, you are it. This is I'm so
Yeah,
excited about this. Like, I can't wait for this. This is gonna be awesome. I'm
which
in.
is
Where do I sign?
literally the, like, ever since what new website launched, like literally all my consults are just like, yeah, we already knew it was you. Like we like our consult call is us just yapping. Like I'm
Which is
like, okay, this
perfect.
is
And it's that
great.
first step of like making that connection and feeling comfortable and, not
Yes.
feeling like awkward with people. I feel like that's such an important step.
Because I'm that person that I'm like, I'm gonna fumble over my words now. So, like, I'm like, I can tell that we're not a fit, and I feel like I'm accidentally tanking this consult call. Oops.
Yeah, and then you like get in your head and then you're like, I know
Mhm.
the answer, but I feel like I can't say like
Yeah.
now the answer is escaping me and I feel like I'm not confident in my own expertise and my experience, and it snowballs into something that's not pretty. So, when you're thinking about the kind of brand website, everything that you had before, what did that kind of look like? Was that something that you had kind of built on your own? Where was it kind of started and evolved to before we jumped in and started, creating this new direction for you?
So I first did my first like branding, and I call it like light branding because I didn't really have like a logo. I didn't really like it. It was light branding. It was nice. I first did that in like 2019, And then like it really served me at the time. And then I slowly
Mhm.
started to update and like DIY a little bit over the last like 5 years. What year is it? 2026. It like turned into this weird mix of like this old version of me and this weird templated vanilla version of me. And I am Napoleon ice cream. I am not vanilla. So or Neapolitan. Not, I've always called it Napoleon. Either way.
You know
But
what? Everybody gets it. They know what you're talking about.
I was like, I wasn't, it's not that I was embarrassed to send people to my website, but I was like, oh, they're not going to get it anyway. They're not going to reach out. So why bother? Because I'm
Mhm.
like, it was there technically, but it didn't feel
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. And I feel like when you end up like piecemealing everything together and everything's not like done all at once, you end up with that like, well, I like this, but then in the context of everything else, it doesn't work how I thought it was going to work. And then
Mhm.
it's that like resentment of like, I don't want to send someone to this because it doesn't feel
Because what
good.
if they
But
click
then
on a random link from like a landing page from 5 years ago, which still sometimes it's fine.
you're like, I didn't even know that page was still there, and now they're on it, and none of the information's right. Yeah, it becomes a whole mess.
I have spent so much time like now that the it's done, I'm like, okay, go through this blog post. Does this still make sense? Okay, update this blog post. I'm like, okay, we're getting somewhere. It's been a good winter.
Yeah, no, I feel like that kind of taking a step back and be like, okay, it's great. It was a great starting point. It got me to where I am, but then building something that truly is who you are now as someone who's been in business for years and knows what they're talking about and has all the work to back it up. And now is like, I need some sort of brand that actually shows that and represents that in a way that I'm not embarrassed to kind of show to the world.
Well, and plus I think the funnest part was updating all of the other stuff. So like Dubsado and Flowdesk. And I'm just like, I feel so put together. And I even, okay, this is like kind of a win. I had someone respond to an email. It was this week. Yeah, it was this week. They responded and they're like, your marketing is just so on point. I don't need photography right now. And I'm like, I tried really hard. Thank you.
It's always that good feeling when like people recognize it because I feel like it's the thing where people sometimes recognize when things aren't the best. They don't always recognize when things are just kind of like average, but when it's really good and it's something that like sticks out, like they remember that and that like sticks in their head. So when someone's like, "Hey, I like your email is really or like your social media post," and you're like,
And the
well,
fact that
great.
they
Like that's
emailed
exactly
me
what I wanted
back.
to do. Yeah, like who actually responds to a marketing email? Like that's a win right there.
Okay. I was excited. I was like, I you made my whole day. Thank you.
So, speaking of how things kind of been working, what else have you kind of seen with the brand and website as a whole since launching? What has been kind of feedback or things that you've seen from clients? I know you were talking about people have gotten on calls and being like, I'm ready to go. This is it." What have you been kind of seeing the effect of the rebrand be?
So we launched November 7th. December was kind of slow, but I feel like it's December. You know what I mean? It's a weird in
Yeah.
between holidays. But for like so far this year, January and February, I've already surpassed what I've done. So for 2026, I've already surpassed what I've done for 2025 with January and February. And I'm like, well, that's kind of cool. This is a
That's
new
crazy.
pattern. I like this. Like, I was like, I've gotten more inquiries and more bookings now, and like they're perfect. Like, not I don't like using the word perfect because I like people how they are, but I'm like they're literally the exact type of thing I want to be doing with the
Yeah.
exact kind of people, and like we're excited, they're excited, they're like, we love your energy, and like they want to be in the places I want to be in, and I'm like,
Hmm.
this is so cool. It's happening.
It's kind of that feeling of like the inquiry comes in or you have the conversation and like they're excited about it, but like you're actually like, I'm really excited to like be a part of this. Like this sounds really cool. And I feel like that finding the mix of people where you're just excited to like capture their wedding as they are to actually do it is like that perfect mix, and it makes it not feel as like draining. Even if you do like if you end up doing more, you're like traveling more, anything like that, it's still great because you feel really good about what you're doing, and I feel
Like
like
it
that
doesn't
makes a
just
huge
feel like a
difference.
paycheck. Like
Yeah.
no, like, and I don't ever want to like put that out there for like photography wise because I really do care about my clients. It's just like sometimes if you don't like if you don't vibe but they really want to book, then you kind of feel bad because you're like, am I actually serving you to the best of my ability? But
Mhm.
now I feel like the brand has completely, it makes sense to people. They land on it and they're like, yes. Or they're like, no, which is fine too.
And that's the thing. Your website should attract people and it should repel people. So if they're not the right fit, they should be able to tell that. So that, again, like they're not wasting their time reaching out to you.
Hmm.
They're not wasting your time getting on calls and being like, "Yeah, this is not what I thought it was going to be. This is definitely not the fit. Like I need to go find someone else." So I think having a brand, having a website, having, marketing stuff, whatever it might be that sets that expectation right off the bat can be really really helpful to, you and not spending a lot of like mental energy talking and going through all the stuff with people who you're like, this isn't gonna work out, and really dedicating that to the people that you're like super excited to actually work with.
Well, and I felt like in the past, like I almost really was like what's the word I'm looking for? Regurgitating like my copy on consult
Hmm.
calls because like they were just hitting contact form submit versus like now
Yeah.
I've legit had my consults tell me like we read every word and I'm like, really? That's so
You're
cool.
like, I've barely read every word.
And I'm like, I love that. Thank you. And they're like, yeah, we were like, yep, this is everything we want. We mostly just wanted to make sure like what's the finishing process versus like having to not like convince someone to book, but now it just
Hmm.
feels like, okay, my website has already quote unquote convinced you to book. That's why you're
Yeah.
inquiring.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that it's kind of both ways of like having everything on there that people can find, but then also having it in a way that makes sense and like encourage them to actually keep going. Because I think
Hmm.
sometimes we're like, this website has a ton of information, but it's actually really difficult to find it and to know where to go for specific things. And that's where we wanted people either just leaving the website or just being like, I'm just gonna get on a call and ask all these questions that you finish the call and you're like, all of those questions were answered on the website if they just looked.
Hmm.
And like it gets into that, like you said, like just re-saying the same things that are already on the website. If we can create something that people are excited to continue to go through and actually find on their own, it, makes the process, they feel more confident in you, they know that they're working with an expert, they feel like they already know what to expect, and then they can just get on the call and be like, is the vibe good? Yeah,
Yeah.
send me the contract, I'm ready to go.
Oh yeah. And also I'm like, this year has been much better than last year.
Well, we love to hear that. If you're thinking back to the whole rebrand process, was there any part of it that was your favorite, or was there anything that kind of actually surprised you about the process?
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know why everyone doesn't hire you guys. Like truly, like I'm not just like, okay, maybe I am fluffing, but it's well deserved because like the communication, the organization, and like everything's delivered on time. You told me exactly when something was due, exactly when you needed it by, and I was like, I don't know, maybe it's the ADHD in me, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is due in 24 hours, complete. And then, but like, it was very thorough too at the same time. So I was like, all of this makes sense. This is all the information you need, but it is so laid out and just like, here is everything. And like, everything really was delivered on time. And like, I was like, there's no way they can do a whole website in 4 weeks. No, they were done early. That's crazy.
I feel like we totally understand and will never say that like doing this process is like an easy thing. Like there is a lot that goes into building a brand and a website. And I think one of the things that we focus on a lot is making that as like easy to understand and like as least overwhelming as possible, because we all have things going on. And like regardless of if it's your slow season, you still have stuff that you have to do. If you're in your busy season, you're probably out shooting or editing or anything like that. So like there's a lot of stuff on your mind, but if we can try and break it down and make it as like simple and accessible as possible, I feel like that's our goal, to make it not feel like something that's overwhelming to you, but something that you're just like genuinely excited to jump into and like have a hand in and be a part of.
I think the feedback part was my favorite. But then I would start to feel a little guilty. And I'm like, oh my God, they're going to get so annoyed with all my little comments. Because I was like, legit, I'm like, this is me reacting in real time. So I would just like, because the way you had it set up is like, I could click and like leave a comment. And I'm like, this is genius. But I'm like, I wanted you guys to know, like, this stuff makes me excited. This I didn't like that much, but the way you changed it, perfection.
Yeah. No, we are always the people who are like, I would rather you leave like 150 comments on the website than like 10. Like, give us everything because it's yours. We want to make sure that you love it and you feel really good about it. So, like, be as nitpicky as possible because we can always make changes. And, like, you have a vision for your own business and we want to respect that and help bring that to light. So, like, give us all of the feedback. You're not going to hurt our feelings. It's going to hurt our feelings more if you don't say anything and then end up with something that you don't like because you're like, I guess this is okay. So we love the positive, the negative, everything in between, all the reactions. We absolutely love to see it.
I mean, it was just kind of fun too, because I was like, oh, I wasn't sure how I was gonna give feedback. I was like, would I have to screenshot and then email a million screenshots? I was like, no, this is all right here in this one little thing. I think it was
Yeah.
Notion.
We have Notion for all of that, and then we have markup that we use to actually do all this. Like it is very much again, we want to make it as easy as possible, but also like you're saying, like how are you supposed to leave feedback on a website if you're like this one section with this word and like next to this, but like it just becomes more complicated. So anything that we can do to make it easier for you, for us, kind of mitigate any miscommunication that could happen is absolutely our goal.
I'm like, I don't know if I had a least favorite part. Waiting? That sucked.
You know what? That's we feel that. That is sometimes you're just like
But I
we
don't
got to
think
get
I
a
could
couple
really
days to actually put it together,
find.
but no, I love that. Okay, so I have one more question for you. Now that you've had time to use everything and have it up and kind of update everything across the board, which I can tell you, I love that you think that that was a great experience of like getting to incorporate the branding into a lot of the other like Flowdesk and Dubsados. Because I feel like most people are like, now I have to go do it there, and this feels like such a big thing to like figure out Dubsado again after setting it up. So the fact that you love that, I
Meanwhile,
love
I was
that.
like,
That's
"Ooh, okay, hang on. I want to add all of these little things." And then people like I like added it immediately because I think it was week 1 where you sent me. Yeah, it was week 1. You sent me all the
mhm.
logos and the colors. I went into Canva. I went into everything. I'm like, "This is my color palette. Throw the old one away. This is trash."
I love to hear that, and I'm so glad that you were able to do it and do it quickly. I feel like it really does when you have everything that looks the same. It really does just look so much better. Um, but now that you have everything out there and together, how confident do you feel with your new brand and website and it kind of working for you and being out there in the world?
I'm trying to think of like not a sarcastic response, but 10 out of 10. Cuz like honestly, I just like I'll go on my website sometimes and I'm like, "Oh man, I want to hire me." But it's like that sounds kind of weird, but I kind of like it. I don't know. Cuz like
No,
between like
I
my copy and the design, I just love everything. It just and the all the little things that move. It scratches all the right places.
that's what we love to hear, and we want yes, your website should work for, the people that you want to attract, but ultimately it's a representation of you. So if you're like, I don't love this, it's never going to work the way that you want it to work and be used the way you want it to be used. So when we hear that, that makes us so happy. That's absolutely our goal is to make you feel good every single time you see it and send it to people and not feel like you're embarrassed to send your website link to somebody to give them more information or anything like that.
Well, I don't know if it's even like cuz I've been doing this since 2012, right? And this is my first time I've ever had a text logo. I don't know if I should admit that, but I just do, so it's fine. I never had a text logo. I had a graphic logo that like my wedding photographer made for me, which I still love it. She's vintage. She's always going to be somewhere.
Mhm.
But I was like, okay, it's really hard to print. There's too many colors, and now I'm like, I have a text logo. I could put this here. I could send this here. I'm like, this is excellent. I've never been able to do this, and now I didn't know what I was missing until I had it. If that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. I think it's a thing where once you have more things to use, you're like, oh my God, I have so many ideas for how I can use this. And you don't like think about needing all those things or like wanting all of them, which is why we're like, here's what we're gonna build. We're gonna give you all of this. You're gonna get a brand pattern. You're gonna get like I get like all of this stuff. And there's a lot of times where like, okay, I feel like I don't need that, but like it's part of it, so go with it. And then you get it and you're like, Oh my god.
I use the
I can do
patterns
so
all
many
the
cool
time.
things here. Yeah, exactly.
I have
So,
this saved on my phone as branding folder, so then when I ever want to post something on Instagram, boom, I just pull one up. We're good to
it's right
go.
there. It's perfect. I love that. But yeah, if anybody wants to see all this new great branding and the new website and everything like that, where can they find you online?
So my website is Jamie Tobin Photography, and every single page looks awesome. There we go. No, but like, if I had to pick, the blog is still my favorite because it's so much easier to navigate. Because I'm one
Yeah.
of those people that likes blogging. If you remember that from our last episode, I just don't have a lot of time. And I will word vomit all day long. And now I feel like it's so organized, and I love it.
Yeah. I feel like you have such a resource on your blog and there's so much information, so making it more of a resource I feel like was a super great step in for this new website.
Plus, it's fun to see all the analytics because I'm like, which blogs do people like the most? Where, which pins are people clicking on?
Diving into all the little stats and numbers and things that a lot of people don't pay attention to, but they can really be helpful when you're trying to figure
I
out what
do.
to do and what to put time towards.
Yeah. No, I like the SEO. I love hiding in that stuff. So I was like, it's time. She needs to look pretty and work really pretty.
Well, we are so thankful to have been able to help bring that to life. I will absolutely link your website down below, so definitely go check it out. And I want to thank you again for coming on again for another episode. It was so great getting to chat to you, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Thank you. It was fun.